All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is wet versus dry ingredients. These are things like rice and pasta, generally. The things that you have to, typically on the nutrition label says dry, so you have to weigh it out dry and then hydrate it in order to get your serving size. But what I've done is some experiments to see what they weigh out as wet as well, because oftentimes when you live at home with a family, they're gonna make stuff ahead of time. And other times you're not gonna wanna have to just weigh out individual servings. You're gonna wanna know, okay, I have this much wet pasta. If I weigh out this, what does it equivalent to on the label? So the experiments that I've done with this is where I actually just do a serving of the dry, and then I weigh it out once it's hydrated, okay? So a lot of the times it just doubles in weight, but to put your mind at ease, we're gonna play with it. So first thing to note is that when you're dealing with pastas, most of the time, they have the same nutrition, unless you're going for a specialty brand, like a protein pasta or gluten-free or whole wheat. Even then, a lot of the time, they're about the same. When we look at these, there's only one label that is different than the others, and it's that fancy yellow one, the De Checo, and it's only off by 1 or 2 of the carbs and the protein. Not much difference. Otherwise, all these different spaghettis and all the different shapes and sizes, there's even a macaroni and cheese there, which is a bit different. But when you look at the serving of one, it's still it's a 70 grams because it comes with the powder as well, but it's still very close in the carbs and protein and fat. It's only off by a little bit. Prepared is different because you're adding milk and butter, but the pasta part is what takes up most of that nutrition, and it's still very similar. So we're gonna go ahead and weigh out one portion of these, of the rice. I have a calrose rice, sushi rice. It's a great meal prepping thing because sushi rice holds water longer. It stays hydrated longer, so it doesn't dry out when you've saved it. But calrose rice is the closest thing we have where I'm at to sushi rice. But we're gonna go ahead, weigh out the serving sizes for these, and then we're gonna hydrate them and weigh them afterward. All right, I have water boiling. I've got these 2 different kinds. As you can see, they both have a 56 gram measurement, and their macros are the same almost. They're off by 1. This one is a garden rotini as opposed to a penny. So we are gonna weigh these both out to the 56 grams on the handy dandy scale. Put your bowl on first, always. And then we are going to go 2 grams. We tap our unit to find our grams, and we pour them in. So this isn't gonna look like a lot when it's dry because these do expand. Oh, there's 1. It's cool because these are each like worth 1 almost. I'd have to really test it, but it's like you can almost count out the pieces. So let's do our penne next. They're 2 different size bowls, so they're not gonna be the same weight. There's gonna be like 3 pieces of pasta left. Yep, 3. We'll just put that in with the garden rotini. But then we add these to our water and we hydrate them, and then we're gonna weigh them. All right, so for the rice, in order to make this easier, because when I looked at the directions, we have a 1.5 cup serving of rice to 2 cups water. So in order to avoid some major fractions, what I'm going to do is double this. We're gonna do 90 grams dry for a 1/2 cup, which means that we will need a 1/4 cup of water to add in. So we'll go ahead and get our 45 times 2 grams of rice. Make sure that we tear it on the bowl so that we can get it. Key thing to note here is that hot stuff weighs less than cold stuff. So as you let it, or it's going down as the heat comes up actually, so it's lighter when it's colder. So you're gonna see this weight come down a little bit as it cools. But since it's still so close to the 112, exactly the double, I'm gonna go ahead and just switch over to our other one. see where we're at. Yep, even closer. Okay, there we are. Pasta, hydrated pasta is double the dry weight. So what that means for us is whenever we have this wet pasta that we want to weigh out, if you have a 2-ounce serving or a 56-gram serving you're aiming for, you are going to instead give yourself, you're going to weigh out double that for your wet stuff. So one serving is going to be 112 of a wet pasta. That's 4 ounces over the 2, or 112 grams for over the 56 grams. Okay, our rice is done. Looks good. We're going to weigh her out. All right, so this is what we have. Granted, rice is going to be almost impossible to get absolutely every grain. So this one is a little more of an estimate depending on how well you are at scraping your pot. But this is 2 servings of rice, which are 56 grams each. So it's 112 grams of rice. So it's pretty safe to say it's double because 112 is 224. We're missing a little bit. I don't know if it's a full 24 grams, but it's just a little under another double. So that water that we added doubled the weight of the rice. That what you see there is the weight of the bowl. But that's, yep. So it's about double when you hydrate these things. So now you know for your own records, if you have pasta at home or rice at home that's already been made by the family, or if you don't feel like doing individual servings, you can just double the grams and or ounces in order to get the same serving size that you're looking for.